Okay, I really need to start doing these before I actually summon because I start getting biases based on how well the summoning went. I'm gonna try and keep this out, especially because I have this servant on 2 different accounts. But I'm gonna try and keep the bias out of it from recent 5-star summoning because it's not even Reines' fault. It's just my luck on NA compared to my luck on JP. So, god damn it. Where's Tommy for that? Let's talk about Reines. If you are a person that really enjoys using berserkers for like all of the hard stuff in the game, this is a servant you almost borderline need because she completely eliminates class advantage with her MP. Even better if it's an art servant, then that arts berserker really isn't going to be dying. She is a unique kind of servant, and her MP buff just makes her even better at what she already did. So let's get started with this sadistic little girl that the first time meeting her as a 4-year-old, by the way, she had Waver jumped like she's a mob boss. That's her at 4 years old. Now this is her at like 15. Y'all think Rin is like one of the worst people that she can't like say her mind? Rin is literally one of the nicest mages. Reines is an actual mage. She has actual mage values, and that family is a 6-letter word, and Waver is not even related to her by blood. That's not supposed to be a thing, a shot at her liking her. I don't even know case files like that. I'm just saying she doesn't give a shit about Waver like that. He is a placeholder for her until she starts caring more than him being a tool for her amusement. Base attack, 11.4k. For a support, she has more at base attack than like actual farming servants. She has more base attack than Muramasa. I'm pretty sure she actually has more base attack than Muramasa. Am I saying that she's a stronger DPS than Muramasa? Absolutely not. Attack doesn't matter for everything. But that's still a statement that's true. Wait, hold up. Let's double check whether that's true or not. I'm pretty sure. Yep. Base HP low. I actually would have really liked it if Reines was a lot tankier, but she kind of already does that, so it's like asking for like barbecue sauce with a well-cooked steak and like french fries. It's like, do you really need to slather the steak with barbecue sauce? No. Would it taste better for you? Maybe. She is super tanky, and that's like just in general, like Reines doesn't die often, especially in most of the challenge quests you fight in. Because part of it has to do with she is a rider, not a caster. Now, in the current landscape, we have Lady Avalon, we have Ruler Scotty, but Reines came out at a time where the only support unit was Nero Bride and casters. There was no other type class that was doing buffing. So in a challenge quest, if you were up against a rider boss, you kind of were screwed. If all you had were support casters, all of them would be going down ridiculously quick. Reines changed that by being a rider, and her MP makes it so that does not happen. It can't happen as long as you have really good uptime on the MP. I do actually unironically like Reines Mighty Chains. Like, because of this attack, she actually does really good damage. And like looking at all her stats, her hit counts, the MP gain 0.64. If she needs to do a Brave Chain, it actually is, it's not the worst kind of thing. Like, you'll get the MP back, which is very important. And in a Mighty Chain, you will gen stars. Probably stick to doing arts chains unless you need the stars. but she has fairly good refund. All things considered, like her not having triple arts is to her benefit so much. First skill. If you use Waver, this should look familiar. AoE, defense up 25%, damage cut for 3 turns, 400, and a 10% battery. This is very, very reminiscent of Waver. For a lot of people, Reines is a better, more challenge quest oriented version of Waver. Let's just bring it up for this comparison. Is this skill? Reines gives more defense. That's the old one. Sorry. That is the old version of the skill. Waver gives more defense and damage cut and a better charge. He has a better version of this skill. For both of them, because the battery is flat, you are not leveling for battery. You are leveling for cooldown, which for Reines in arts teams is extremely important. You do want to have very good uptime because a very common unit you would use with Reines is Tamamo. If you're fighting a boss where Castoria is not the best option, and this is like buff removal teams, in Reines and Tamamo teams, even if they remove the buffs, you're probably at least living a turn, and you might either be able to pop the MPs again, or you'll be able to pop the skills again. Technically, you can do that with Castoria, but with Castoria is heavily reliant for survivability on her MP, and that is hit-based, not turn-based. So you can use up Castoria shielding very quick, and uptime might, because of it only applying to one enemy one ally at a time like that with the hit counts. There might be times Castoria doesn't have any solemn defense, but everyone else does. But all the other solemn defenses are gonna go away next turn. Like at the end of the enemy turn, they're going away. So if you pop Castoria MP that turn, you're kind of screwed next turn. But that we'll get into more of that later. So, weaker version of Waver skill. Is that a bad thing? It's weaker, yes, but like not to the point that they would buff the skill only to make it even to Waver. I'm a fan of like having, if you're on this turn skill cooldown, if you're this type of skill, it should be like the same. But don't buff this skill just to make it Waver level. Keep it a reason to use Waver versus Reines. That opinion applies more to DPS skills. Like if you have a turn dodge and a 30 battery, why is it 6 turn on one character and 5 on the other? Like that's my argument, because it has to do with farming and everything, and just like DPS in general. But like a defensive skill like this, just don't buff this skill and only make it equal to Waver. If you're gonna buff it, add something to make it different from Waver. Here is where Reines is different from Waver and why they should not buff these skills just to make it even with Waver. Reines doesn't do crit damage, but most art servants don't really do crit damage. Targetable 20 and 40% attack for 3 turns. This is one of the highest targetable attack buffs in the entire game. It gives a demerit for her for 3 turns of 20%, but you do not care about this. This is a non-issue. Whether you're running Reines with Tamamo or with Castoria, this is like, you don't care about this. Like this reduces Reines damage, but Reines isn't the main DPS, so you don't really care. This is on a 6 turn as well. And yeah, if you look at farming cheats, you'll see, and this is specific to Vitch, VRO. R is Reines. She is on here because she gives the highest kind of buff for Koyanskaya. You don't get attack buffs in Buster farming. Reines gives the highest attack buff. So if they're using 2 Vitches and an Oberon, you still need another support. Reines is probably one of the best supports you can bring to the farming. Because she gives the 50 and like this. Third skill has been buffed, and it honestly needed to happen. Because before this buff, she was only giving 30 to the party. So she was just worse Waver. She gave Waivers buffs, but they didn't give as much battery. They literally buffed Waver to give him charge, because his original kit, he didn't have any MP gain. They buffed they stealth or reworked his kit to give him MP gain. Reines needed this, and it's not just the battery too. Like, this is really good stuff. Targetable 20 battery again, invul for 2 attacks 3 turns, and debuff resistance of 30% for 3 turns. This is just survivability, and you pop this on a support to make sure they don't die. You don't need to put this on the DPS. Now, in that bitch farming example, obviously you are going to put this on bitch to let her farm. Sorry, I'm gonna take a breath. But this is all defensive stuff that in a challenge quest you don't need to put on a DPS if you don't need to. Like, if they need the battery, I get it. But this is definitely more catered to support so they don't die. Or get debuffed. Like, because those two aren't 2 different things. Like, getting hit by a shit ton of defense down sucks. And the debuff resistance is good on a DPS as well, because it means their damage isn't going to get stifled because they got hit with MP down or whatever nonsense a boss is throwing your way. But this wasn't the buff that Reines just got. This was a really solid buff that she needed, even if it was just adding 20 battery to a skill. She needed this. But her MP buff is so strong. Passive skills: debuff resistance 17.5%, riding B 8% quick, it makes these quick cards better. Territory creation B 8%, it makes her arts cards better. She doesn't have any card buffs in her kit. She's not that kind of support. She's neutral, but these just perform better than they look on paper by default. You can't take away these. It's part of the reason her refund is usually not an issue. She's very good for refund because she has a lot of stuff in her kit to help her refund back. And sorry, not extra attack. It wouldn't be a bad choice for the extra attack if she has to solo, but if you're soloing with Reines, something definitely went wrong. Like, units died that shouldn't have died. But mana loading, it makes things cleaner, and let you use Reines in farming. This is mostly for Castoria setups though, where you're getting AoE 30s, but it does help in some multi-core and 90++ content when you need to pop the MP for some reason. Like, again, mostly challenge quests, but it can play a part in farming. Her MP actually does have a farming utility. You're just probably not starting from 0 with Reines, and more likely than not, it's like you're putting an event CE on, like, from support. That's most of the reason you'd actually be popping the MP like that. So, MP, what did it originally do? Almost guaranteed defense down, like this fights magic resist 150%. You need above 50% to, like, basically make it almost like a chance at not landing it. Like, if you have 100%, it doesn't mean you have 100% chance of landing it. You have to subtract magic resist and yeah, magic resist. If you're at 150%, like, it takes buffs and super high magic resist to, like, resist this debuff. Like, so it's almost guaranteed. And defense down, unless you're using quick, you don't see this often except on a DPS's either part of their MP or an overcharge. So having like access to this is like really solid. Overcharge, crit attack chance down 20%, which does stop you from taking even more damage. Like they don't crit you, you don't take as much damage, and then you take away class disadvantage. So berserkers basically become Draco. Thus, without Draco's negatives. So berserkers take neutral damage from everyone and do 1.5 damage to everyone but foreigners. That's literally what Draco's whole deal is, but better because they're also super effective against the extra class. Obviously, this does not have a use in farming, but this is disgusting for any challenge quest. It makes the negative of being a berserker and just makes it a non-issue. It's also a debuff cleanse for Reines. So that's why the attack down is a non-issue, because it doesn't matter. It's after 1 MP, it's gone. I thought this MP was fine, but Lasagna says no, we can make this better. And now you get party MP gen rate equal to Castoria's second skill. This is the same base value, and if you have MP5 Reines, it goes up to 50. What Paracelsus's third skill maxed out does. More than what Nero Bride gives. This is a higher buff than Nero Bride's MP gain, along with increasing overcharge for the party. So what does this mean in Castoria setups? It makes getting to higher solemn defense stacks ridiculously easy. If you're just doing a Reines MP immediately followed by Castoria, you have 3 stacks already, and 3 stacks is usually what you desire for your minimum stacks to be. You want it at least 3 stacks, because 3 stacks is a full turn of protection. And this is 1 time 3 turns. So if you're able to spam Reines MP, Castoria might not even need to be popping after someone else. You might be, or not after Reines. You might just have like, she just pops it and she has 4 built up. Like 3 from this and then 4 from her popping it. This is gross. It makes every single arts team that uses Reines infinitely stronger. Tamamo now gets a more MP back to the party. So Tamamo goes from only doing trying to remember the scaling for a minute. It's like 32 for overcharge 2 to literally 37.5%. It makes people have their busted overcharges work even better. And an arts team, they're usually chaining, so it makes stall teams ridiculously easy to work with. And remember, this part is for the party. It stops your support casters and this from getting crit by riders. You, most of the time you fail a challenge quest, especially if it's a stall one, because of a stray crit, because buff up time is down for that small instance. And it's mostly chip damage. I cannot understate how much of a carry this is for accounts that are just starting and pick Kucaster or Herc or reworld for Herc and have him bond 10 and are using the bond CE. This makes those servants nigh unkillable. They're already tanky even as berserkers. This makes it so they don't even take as much damage and can take even more punishment. It really sucks though, because for me, I love this unit. It has literally carried me on my JP accounts when I didn't have any of the main line supports. No Castoria, no Vitch, no Scotty, nothing. Oh wait, actually I did have Scotty at this time. Yeah, I had Scotty before I got Reines. If you are having problems looping and you don't care about bond points, especially for a unit with ramp up, like Reines is a really good option as like plug suit. Like if you need extra, and if you can get her MP off, you're not worried about much. You really aren't. If you can't loop with double Castoria and Reines with her actually popping her MP in like the first turn or something, there's something wrong with your comp. Because Reines is giving another 30% to Castoria's gain, along with the attack buffs and everything. Leveling, not that bad here. Stakes, if you did not do the last lottery, you are gonna have a bad time with this. But luckily, Reines does not need these two skills leveled if all you care about is battery. However, this skill does scale with the level. Your battery is tied to if it's lured or not. If you're around here, if you're doing buster farming, you can't use, like if you're doing buster farming and you're not using Oberon, like and you need a 50, you need this skill maxed out. These two not so much, but this one is your #1 priority in leveling. This is the only one that actually matters for scaling purposes or for farming purposes. You do want these skills maxed out though for challenge quest for cooldown reason, because having this on a turn shorter makes using her with Tamamo infinitely better. Like your teams are just so tanky if you have almost 100% uptime on this. She likes the expensive stuff for her pens. She really likes this expensive shit. And Bonsi has 15% arts for the party while she's on the field. I'm going to get this unit. It's going to happen. Like, I'm not concerned whether or not I'm going to get Reines. I will. It's just how much is she going to milk me dry of my wallet? Because it's funny to her. Like, her and Bitch are not that different. Neutral, balanced. Yeah, that's not... She is a... Like, this is Sima Yi, not Reines. Reines is, yeah, probably closer to lawful evil, if I'm being honest. If I'm being honest, it's either I don't even know where to start with Reines' actual alignment, because she is a sadistic little shit. But I mean, like, I'm not saying I don't like her for that. It's really funny watching her, like watching Waver squirm. Like she, like what she does to Waver is, oh my god. Like she had him jumped and like hanging like upside down in front of her while she's sitting on a chair that is literally like with a booster seat, looking down on him like that. Like, holy crap. Like, I'm not saying she's a bad character. I'm just pissed off at the gotcha. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later. Peace. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.